It is the Flow Friday Sports Show here on Flow FM, and it's time to take a look at Hume Netball. And our correspondent for all things Hume Netball, Carla Fletcher, joins me on the line. Carla, good to be with you again. How are you?
I'm well, thanks, Alice. And you?
Going okay, thank you, Carla, and plenty of action across the weekend in the A grade. No real shocks, but we've got some close games, that is for sure, Carla. We'll start with the heavy hitters. Osborne, they took on Holbrook, and I guess it went the way we expected it would, but Holbrook holding up to an extent, Carla, you'd say?
Yeah, look, Holbrook were a little undermanned on the weekend when they took on last year's premiers, and they didn't have the ability to make any changes. The Osborne girls, look, they just wanted to go out there and have a really good, solid win, and they had some really nice defences, changeovers out of the defence. But Holbrook managed to get some turnovers, but they just couldn't maintain the consistency throughout the game. And their award winners went to Claire Marriott in goalkeeper and Jessica Rowe in centre. With Osborne's Bridie Willis, she took out the Players Player Award, and the Coaches Award went to Osborne's young shooter, Louise Madden.
Well, Holbrook can certainly take some encouraging signs out of that game, Carla, because of the fact that, as you say, lacking some of their players, and in terms of how many the scoreline that they conceded, it's not as though we haven't seen even bigger scorelines already conceded against the big hitters in Osborne and Jindera already this season so far. So Holbrook, they can certainly be happy with some elements of the result, at least, going into their next game.
Yeah, I think so, and they'll be looking forward to just, having a full-strength side this weekend, hopefully.
Let's move on. Jindera, they took on the Billabong Crows, 54-27, the final score. Let us know how this one played out, Carla.
Yeah, look, Jindera had a great first quarter, and I think that just set the scene for the game. The Crows worked really hard in the defensive end, and they were just not able to reward themselves for all their hard work. Best on court for the Crows went to Millie Flanagan in centre. She worked really hard in the mid-court, and the incentive award went to one of their young players who's come up from under 17 last year, Isabel Bush, who had a pretty consistent defensive game in wing defence. Jindera's Players Player went to Sam Creasy, who was very strong and dominant in the goal circle, with their other awards going to Ellen Cook and Tamika Wallahan, both playing full games in defence in the absence of Shana Holland.
Well, certainly the game of the round, and what could be one of the games of the year. Lockhart against CDHBU, just one in it in the end, Carla, 46-47. Wow.
Yeah, look, it was a really tightly fought game, and Lockhart had a little bit of a lead in the first quarter, but, I think they went into the second quarter with a bit of a lull, and CDHBU got straight back into the game. And then it was just neck and neck for the rest of the game, with the lead changing a few times in the last quarter. Look, Lockhart had their chances at the very end there, but CDHBU eventually 1-point winners. And their best players went to defenders Shelby Richardson and Rebecca Cusert, and goal shooter Rosie Dye. She shot really well. And Lockhart's defenders Tegan Hannon and Hannah Keeley won their awards. So, yeah, it was a great game. Yeah, it was beautiful to watch, and everyone played really hard.
Certainly looking forward to the reverse fixture between those two. While one side that certainly copped a bit of a battering was the Brockenby Burrumbuttock Saints. They went down to Howlong at home, 25-65. Pretty damaging scoreline, this one for the home side, Carla.
Yeah, look, and I think Howlong are just starting to really gel together as a team. They've got some new players in there. And their coach, Emma Pargetta, just said it was a great full-team effort from the girls. Their best players were Nicola Lane in goal shooter and Jess Lane in goal attack, while the BB Saints Awards went to Courtney Campbell, who had a really good game in wing defence, and Jemima Dunstan. She provided a lot of turnover balls for the Saints girls in the defensive circle. So, it's just really difficult when you're coming up against a team that's, come off two big losses and really looking to put some points on the board.
Giants too good for Culcairn, 42-26, the final score in Walla. Tell us how this one went, Carla.
Yeah, look, it took to the very last quarter before the Giants managed to break away from, a pretty competitive Culcairn outfit. It was a pretty tight contest all through the court, with Giants Jess Kelleher really stepping up in the goal attack area and doing a wealth of work in the goal third. Samara Trethowne teams up with Brianna Higgins in defence, and they're starting to show some versatility and work really well together. Look, I think a big highlight for the Giants girls was seeing two of their young junior players make their A-grade debuts in Hallie Colhagen and Isabel Kritzberger, and they each had a half a game. So well done to those two young girls. And Alyssa Rule, who played wing attack goal shooter, Kayla Wright in the centre, and Claudia Grogan in the mid-court were Culcairn's best players.
I'll tell you what, Murray Magpies are going to be flying under the radar this season at this point. They are an early contender to be the finals dark horse. They beat Henty on the weekend, 31-58 as the away side. Carla, is it fair to say that they've earned their strides already, or do you feel as though some might say, well, they haven't really been tested yet?
Oh, look, I think they're winning, these games by quite a big margin. They're playing some really controlled and disciplined netball, the Magpie girls, and they're starting to move the ball really quickly down the court. Against an improving Henty team. So they're actually getting, some of those big margins on the board compared to some of the closer games. Most valuable player for Henty went to Holly Kinning in goal attack and goal shooter. And she's starting to bring some experience and great leadership to the Henty girls with the Coaches Award, going to their co-captain Olivia Hall for a good game in the centre. And best players for Magpies were Lisa Holly in goal shooter and their centre Jessica Black.
There we have it. Well, we'll move along and talk about this weekend's action, Carla. Osborne up against Brocklesby, Burrumbuttock. This should be a fairly foregone conclusion of a result, you would think, barring an absolute miracle.
Yeah, look, I think Osborne are just proving that they know what they want to do, and they want to get that back-to-back premiership this year, and they'll be looking to put a lot of goals on the board and trying to improve their percentage and maybe sneak back up into first position. So I don't think they're going to have any trouble this weekend.
Carl can have the opportunity to derail the Magpies bandwagon, but I don't think they'll do it, Carla.
No, look, Magpies have had a fantastic start to the season, and I think they'll just continue to keep their run and take the 4 points. The girls are enjoying, this great start to the season, and Coach Hannah Azai is really encouraging, and fingers crossed, I think the Magpies girls will take the 4 points.
Who do you fancy out of Billabong Crows and Holbrook, Carla? Not the easiest game to call, really.
No, but I think Crows will be looking for a win coming off. They've had two really hard games, Osborne and Jindera. So, and I mean, fingers crossed to the Holbrook girls that they have a full contingent of players this week. And look, I think it'll be pretty even in the first half, but I think the Crows will manage to come away with it in the last half.
CDHBU up against Henty at home. They'll be full of confidence after that absolutely just miracle of a win by just the one last week. So you'd expect they'll have their tails up, CDHBU?
Yeah, I think they will. They're playing some nice netball, and they're pretty fit. And Kath Woods, she works the girls hard, I think, and I think they might come away with a win against Henty on the weekend.
Unfortunately, with all due respect, I think it's going to be a bit of damage control for how long up against Jindera, Carla?
Yes, I think, Jindera want to keep that top spot, and I think they will be working really hard. It'll be really interesting because it's the live stream game for the weekend. So, but I think how long are going to have to play some really disciplined and convert any turnovers. But I think Jindera, going on the last few weeks, I think Jindera will have it in hand.
No doubt. Well, the last fixture is one that interests me. The Giants coming off a win. Lockhart's certainly competitive in their last game. So how do you see this last one going in Walla?
Yeah, look, this one's going to be a very interesting game. I think it'll be pretty competitive. I know Bramwell Bundry Walla, Mel McClellan, nice tall shooter down there for the Giants girls, and she's been playing some pretty consistent netball. So, yeah, I think both teams are just going to have to make every opportunity of any turnovers and get that goal in the goal ring to, come away with the 4 points. But probably Ramble-Bundry probably looks a little bit in the more favourite area at the minute.
Carla Fletcher, our expert on all things Hume netball. Enjoy the upcoming weekend of action. Thanks for your time. We'll speak to you next week.
Thanks.